Alright, it is Monday, first official trading day of August, and my watch list is, I guess it's a little different. CPSL, I'll be watching this, maybe an uptrend, maybe it will have a morning panic bounce play set up. It could do either one. I probably would rather prefer morning panic bounce play, but it could keep uptrending. GTII, potential morning panic bounce play again, even though it doesn't look so nice on the daily chart. It did have a very, in theory, it had a clean one yesterday, the last trading day. RSHN could be an uptrend. Ideally, it's breaking out of this range right back here. You know, it can break this 11.5 level, maybe just some kind of higher low setup. There is going to be potential resistance, but you know, it could be a potential setup. DRNG has broken out, so this one's going to be a watch. Again, maybe some higher low setup, I'm not sure. NSAV is uptrending. This could be an ideal morning panic bounce play. That's all I got for right now. And of course, on the other screen, I have like the whole list of recent OTCs, and I have it by like largest percent loss at the very top for any potential morning panic bounce plays there if they look clean. Alright, it is 9:50 a.m. I did trade RSHN. I was in 935 right here. My entry was 108, and this was a morning panic bounce play. Not really ideal. I didn't really want this one to be one. It was having this uptrend here, but it wasn't really one again I really wanted to trade one of these for, but it did look kind of clean. And I was in right there at 108 when it came back and gave me a chance, risking 105. And I sold at, well, I placed my order at 937, right? But I didn't get all of it executed until 938. And my average was, you know, 11 on 2. So it was a small profit. I sold because it was just a lot of topping action. It wasn't able to get past 15. It didn't get to VWAP. I was very close to buying here. I thought, okay, I could try again at 108. Maybe it's just doing another turnaround, risk again 105. I didn't do it because I thought, well, it could just, you know, keep downtrending from here and make a leg down. But this one did work. It did get to VWAP at 117. Now it's at the bottoms. I would rather want this to be at this point a lower low. That would be better. I wouldn't want it to be another like double bottom, a triple bottom. I wouldn't want that. I'd prefer a lower low, but that doesn't have to happen. DRNG, I haven't seen it in a while. It did do the uptrend. It did break past that level. Yeah, it was channeling here. It did break it eventually. It seems like it might have been hard to get in, but that's nice. It's uptrending. CPSL, I considered it for a dip towards VWAP, I believe. No, not this one. I wasn't looking at this one, but this was right here, a dip towards VWAP, although I didn't have a big volume candle. That was a setup though. I was just taking a look at this. At the time, VWAP was touching this level. I guess it calculated and readjusted later, but this is a NASDAQ stock. This one broke out of this range. I had a stocks to trade alert. It went through. It broke out this level right here. It did drop towards VWAP. I could have been in at 87. It's now at 1042. So that's not bad at all. And this thing can keep uptrending too. There is going to be a lot of resistance, but in theory, this thing could just keep going. This is the one I looked for a dip towards VWAP, and Tim actually took a buy at this 12.6 level. I'm surprised he does that because he doesn't even trade with the VWAP. But I was looking at this because it dipped towards VWAP. But when I was looking at it, it was already like at 13, I think. I forgot, but I would have rather have been in at 12.6, so I didn't get in the trade for that reason. I'll be looking at RSHN. Ideally, it can do a lower low. I'll keep studying these NASDAQ plays like BTBT. This one would have been pretty profitable too. I wasn't sure if they would play off of VWAP as well as OTCs. It seems like it could be the case. Okay, it is 10:02 a.m. and I traded a small size. I went for first dip towards VWAP setup. So again, it's a good background because it's in theory, breaking out of this wiki thing right here, if we look at a 15-day chart, it looks more clear, breaking out at 92, has a lot of potential for an uptrend. It was trading back and forth here. Nice run from this 96 penny level to 11.8. Has this drop all the way towards VWAP. I was watching it here, but it was being a bit sketchy. So then when it actually got to VWAP, I said, alright, this could be a bit hard, but I'm going to take a buy. And I'm going to risk this thing right here. If at any point 1 penny shows up at the bid and like there were shares being executed at the bid, which would be in theory 1, I would immediately cut losses. I'm going to risk 101. I learned that last week, to risk the low of the range, even if it's right by a round number, because if it cracks this, sure, it might bounce from a round number, but it could also just break through that, and now you're trying to sell into a tsunami panic. So that was the idea here, and I got in at 102, a tiny $100 position, like super tiny, super speculative. And then it started to have a bit of an uptrend. When did I get in? I got in at 10 o'clock, which was right here, the second candle, and we did have like somewhat of a big volume candle here. So I took a buy again at 102, and it did get as high as 108, and I actually top ticked it. I didn't think I was gonna get the top. I thought I was gonna get like 105 or something, but this thing could put up a higher low. As long as it's higher than here, this thing can keep going, and maybe it can try 11 right there. My percent gain was 6%, which is cool. Again, if this thing puts up a higher low, it could work out. Just a tiny $6 profit, but the percent gain was way nicer. I'll keep looking, but that's what I got for right now. RSH unfortunately did like a quadruple double bottom, so that's really nothing I want to be a part of. BTBT did get as high as 11.24. So if I were to bought 100 shares, and I had my limit at 87, I have plenty of time to have been executed throughout these 3 candles there, or 4 candles if you want to count this, but probably these 3, because that's when it was at VWAP. That would have been pretty profitable too. CPSL keeps uptrending. I want to really try doing this one for a dip towards VWAP, because it's like touched it a few times already. Yeah, even though it worked here for a second time, there seems to be some kind of a ceiling it might try to break out of. I'll be looking at NSAV, but that's what I got at the moment. Okay, it is 10:47 a.m. I had this wasn't really the best trade. This was like pretty much a stupid boredom trade, but anyway, PHIL cracked this 73 level, and it kind of was like a late morning panic bounce play, some kind of a reversal buy. Of course, whenever I say something like that, reversal buy, or just random dip buy setup, the setup just doesn't work as well. At least the percent chance that it works won't work. I bought here at 7. Technically it was like 6.95 or something like that, but I bought here at 29, and my theory was that this thing could turn around. It did actually. It did get as high as 71 the same minute that I bought, just based on the price action. There were big volume candles going through. The only issue was that, okay, I'm gonna cut losses if 68 shows on the bid and it's getting executed, so that's why I took a sell at this one right here, 10:32. So I was in the trade for a little bit. Now the only good thing is that I traded a very small position size, just to be cautious about it. I mean, it's been ticking at 71 a bit more, and it can turn around at some point, but nice, 72 was on the ask. Is anybody gonna take 72? So a lot of sellers. That was the issue the entire time. There was a lot of people on the ask. 71.45. I guess that kind of counted as a breakout of this range, but I don't know. It seems like everybody's scared. again, it was a small size. It was only 20,000 shares, right? 20,000 shares at 6.8. Did I ask? What? Am I looking at? This is throwing me off. I did not trade that large, did I? Well, that was dangerous. Damn, I didn't mean to trade that large. I thought I traded a freaking $130 position. No wonder I was having a hard time trying to sell at 70. Frick, I did not mean to go that large. Alright. So anyway, I was in at 29, again 1029. And I was trying a long time to sell all of this for 20,000. Like, all of it was just sitting on the ask and never got executed. And then I, went for a sell at 6.8, which something is throwing me off. You see, this says $139 position. Am I just having a slow moment? 20,000 shares. Maybe this thing is wrong. I don't understand this at all. This is 20,000 shares. I'm gonna guess, because my realized loss was just a tiny $3, that this thing is just showing 20,000 shares on accident, and it's really just 2,000 shares, which is what I was interested in. So that's what I'm thinking is the case. It is making a move now at 7.2, so in theory 138, right? I mean, yeah, that would be just a $6 profit because the size was so small, and that would have to be executed at the ask, which could be kind of hard. I mean, it was hard for me, trying to sell at 70, right? But yeah, just probably not the best trade, but at least it's kind of working. It just took a long time. I didn't want to risk 68 cracking. I just risked 68 being executed on the bid because it could just mean a whole bunch of dumping is happening and then it breaks that, and then that really sucks, and that's what I try to avoid. BTBT, oh, I missed this. This could have been an inverse head and shoulders in the 1040s. We'll see if it works or not. It can, because it's doing a nice multi-day potential breakout. NSAV keeps uptrending, isn't really, it's giving me DPLS vibes, not really having the best range. DRNG did do a nice uptrend. It came back to the breakout level. This would have been kind of sketchy, but it did it, it offered a lot of opportunity. RSHN did do a lower low. I just missed this, honestly, but it didn't have like a huge volume candle. I guess it did kind of have some here. Maybe I could have taken a trade there, but I wasn't looking at it. I think I was looking at the other one, 1032. No, I guess not. I guess I just didn't see it. Yeah, so that's where I'm at the moment. I guess I'll be looking at BTBT to see if the setup works out, inverse head and shoulders. In theory, I could be in this in the 1040s and now in the 1060s. The only problem is that it is a listed stock, so it could just have a big random freaking red candle just rips through VWAP, and you just can't really cover. Not cover, you can't just get out of your position that easily. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'll make an update later to see how it goes. Okay, it is 11:11, and I will probably start to work on other things. I have a lot of things I need to catch up with, but NSAV, I did consider a buy at 13.6, and then I kind of hesitated. I need to get better at that because it did continue an uptrend. My fear was that it would just downtrend again, as it did here twice. But, I did feel like it was going to be different because the volume was kind of fading. At least that's what I think. I don't really remember too much, but I was interested in the setup. It did come back to the level, and then it uptrended, and it went to 14.5. Doesn't trade with much range, but that was a setup there. RSHN was my trade here. I could have gone in at this level, but I don't regret that too much because I mean, it could have been something that could have worked, but you know, I would have been scared of a leg down. But I guess in theory it could have been in at 108, risking 106 with such a tight risk like that. Maybe I should have considered it. That would have been profitable because it did get to VWAP. DRNG, yeah, it came back again to that breakout level. It's still uptrending. You know, maybe this thing can have 3 solid green days, and then I can consider this for a morning panic bounce play more. CPSL isn't looking too strong. BTBT, I was watching that for the inverse head and shoulders here, shoulder, head, shoulder, and then it kind of made like a double bottom, which is sketchy, and it did do that classic listed stock just downtrend right from, it wasn't that harsh, 1048, 1050ish to this 1020 level. It did do that. I was totally you know, having that in the back of my mind that it could do it. So that's all I got, just 3 trades. I'm up like, I don't know, 16 bucks or something. Shouldn't have traded PHIO really, even though it is working. It was kind of like of a degenerate boredom trade setup. I mean, in theory, what if I sold at 7.4? Right, and I had 2,000 shares, not 20,000. 148, and my entry was 139. Yeah, I mean 148. I would be up 9 bucks. Just a tiny position, but almost, yeah, not too bad. But I should have traded this. It just wasn't that good. At least it did have something in its favor, in that it was very far from this new thing that I added, which is the EMA 4, and it did kind of break below this level, which could have been like a kind of panic type setup. So yeah, that's all I got. I'll make an update probably later in the afternoon unless I find something, but it is midday and I have some things I should probably work on instead. Alright, it is 4:36 and I am here to call it off for the rest of the day. I think I'm up like 16 bucks. I missed this panic. I was not here for it at all. Maybe in theory I could have put some kind of alert if it started the downtrend or something, but this is giving me DPLS vibes. Hopefully it does morning panic bounce plays better than DPLS, but that's what I'm thinking about. I guess it was really far from the EMA 4. Again, I just recently added this and I'm going to learn, you know, how that thing adapts just to see what kind of patterns tend to happen, you know, in association with it. I regret it, but I did miss this setup right here because I was too damn cheap. I was up 16 bucks on the day and I thought, alright, I could take a buy at 11.28 and I can risk 11, and if 11, you know, happens to hit the bid, I'll just cut my trade and I'll lose 6 bucks with that position size I was interested in, which I think was like $300. Like 350. So I got, you know, I just kind of hesitated. I mean, it wasn't like the initial panic or the one right after it, so there's some credit for that, but I'm pretty salty that I hesitated and I missed this one. You know, it did make a really nice move to 12.41 and I could have been a part of it. It got higher. Let me reload this thing. Yeah, it got to VWAP at 12.83, but I completely hesitated and I shouldn't have. It did do a follow-up dip. I wasn't there for that, and at that point maybe, you know, it would have been fine had I have not traded that one, because that's kind of late to the pattern, like really late, but I should have been there for this, and I kind of regret that. RSHN didn't really do that much. I did trade it and it did put up this lower low after this one failed, and that went from 96 to 103. That's not really something I'm trying to do, but it wasn't that bad. DRNG continues the uptrend. Ideally it could be a morning panic bounce play in the future. BTBT, I don't regret it that much, but you know, that was a new setup trying this dip. Where was it? Yeah, this dip here towards VWAP. I could have been in at roughly 987, It did immediately spike to 11. I don't see inverse head and shoulders or something else that I would have traded here, but that was about it. Sure, I missed this one here, but that's not really too bad because it was a listed stock and I don't have that much experience. This one held VWAP, so I'll consider it more on something similar in the future. And it was on this day where it was breaking past these highs right here, looking pretty nice. This thing can continue for a few days in theory, but yeah, should have went for that first dip towards VWAP setup. You know, it was a higher price, so I would have had to have traded like a $980 position with 100 shares, but still this one worked out nicely. Ideally in the future I could push myself to do something like that. CPSL actually regained itself and it looks a lot better, and of course NSAV. So that's all I got really. I could have done better with BTVT and I could have done better with NSAV. Still have a lot of room for improvements, and I'll just keep going at it. A little rough being a Monday first day back, but I think I can get in the groove, and hopefully, you know, these setups can keep working, and I'll try my best to be trading them.